Hope well finds message. You finds message. This message. I well you finds you. I hope well hope message. This I you this well finds you hope you this I well.
Hello, this is a short bonus episode of I Hope This Message Finds You Well, where we share some small words of wisdom from our conversations that did not make it into the final edit. Enjoy.
I had that huge admiration for a Korean wizard.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, the show, at some point, something very incredible happened at House de Kunst, where he curated a Matthew Barney exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started to kind of be interested in contemporary art, I was a big Matthew Barney fan. And so when a Korean wizard curated that show of Matthew Barney, I traveled to Munich. And it was my first travel to see an exhibition. That's when I started to become a bad curator, taking lots of flights. But it was a big thing for me. It was huge, that trip and that exhibition actually.
I think many of us go through a Matthew Barney phase, and then when you're professional, you realize what it takes to make that kind of production.
Yeah, as well.
The kind of unrealistic difficulties of that.
I think there are a lot of people I would love to work with now.
Yeah.
Lots of people I'd like to kind of establish a relationship with, be in dialogue with. Thomas Lax, for instance, who works at MoMA, is one of them. Well, Joey is someone I would love to collaborate with at some point as well as curators. Or there is that curator working at ICA Philadelphia, who I forgot the name of. So it's not really, but she's done that we met actually. And she presented that series of projects called Colored People Time.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a great example of someone I'd love to collaborate with, for instance. And maybe I think it's places now that are appealing to me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so looking forward to go to CAPC in Bordeaux because the place is just insane. The history that it has is incredible as well.
I mean, also with this question of curator, I don't know if is it normal for curators to have a crush on a professional crush on another curator? I mean, mine is Joy. He is very important to my. But Chris, you don't have somebody that you.
Not like a single person. I mean, the kind of polyamorous professional crush relation to others. I always have difficulty to answer the question of favorites because, I don't know, I find it very confusing. Or suddenly I just have these lots of people's names and achievements going through my head, and I'm I can't pick any single one.
Also because there are so many great curators that are awful people.
Oh, yeah.
So I think at the moment I started to I have to learn about the way people work and the way ethically it's just disgusting, and so that's when I started to be but one of the person I love the work of and I've never properly met and I wish is Jakob Fabricius. Probably not pronouncing the name properly. Who is currently working as director at Kunsthalle Aarhus in Denmark. Yeah, that's definitely someone that I love to establish a connection with. But also Elena Filipovic, for instance. That's just Also, Suzanne Pfeiffer. I think the work that she's doing at MMK Frankfurt is just insane. I saw the hanging of. She did that project called Just Museum there, and it was so But I think it was good specifically for artwork people. I don't know if like people that are not interested in art history or like it, but I think it's also fine sometimes to tailor projects for specific audiences. Like, okay, if it's not always the same type of audiences you're adjusting the projects to, I think it's good sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely. I think also like it would make sense to know all the different kinds of audiences that institution or exhibition space would have, right? To be able to also like be able to be nuanced and also like tailor the exhibition to a particular audience, which is also a lot of work to know who these people are and what they want, and so like your goal to bring the public or the audience into the planning and the thinking process is quite an ambitious one in the sense that there, it would be a sort of a town hall essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I hope this message finds you well.
But I also I realized I can only actually answer 3 emails a day now, even if it's one line. It's not about like how much I have to say. It's about the connecting part that takes energy.
Yeah.
And this is also, I also like only to email people I actually want to sit in a room with. So that means it could be strangers too, because I might want to, get to know them. So it's not just like people I know, but like this makes the kind of, this brings up the question of like how to proceed post pandemic or post at this moment, whether I see myself needing to email so many emails to people I don't want to sit in a room with.
Yeah, I think I would sign up for that as a first step towards, collective. I think just collectively like denouncing emails. This kind of, obsessive like email thing is really destructive. One time, actually, it was Lara, our previous interviewees. I remember we had this discussion. Like at that time, we had some kind of we liked the inspiration to write. At the same time, we had to write different kind of things, and I think it was Lara or perhaps someone else. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but something about like, I imagine that I'm writing an email because we are so conditioned writing an email that you can explain really difficult concepts and write very lengthy text in an email. But suddenly, by taking that into a Word doc and imagining I'm just writing an email can be helpful. But this is also the sign of something that, like how email writing took over completely your thinking because it's just we're so conditioned.
Yeah, I have a auto response for Shimmer. Like we only work Mondays and Fridays, and we say we'll get to those emails on Mondays and Fridays. But without fail, people will message us to say that they got an auto reply and they have something they wanted to tell us, and it's very difficult to say, well, what did the auto response say? It feels a bit rude to be like, look, you did get a reply from me, and it said that I'm working on this, but people really insist on even though it's not an emergency. But I am starting to think that I'm going to start putting an auto response on my personal email too. Or getting somebody to just answer my emails for me like a bot. Because it's possible. Like a lot of emails don't really need such, like thank you for your email, I'll take it into consideration.
Maybe just program some AI bot as a curatorial response email.
But I do think it's interesting, like not to say that the people who did email messaged by social media are unkind or whatever, but I did think it was interesting how by taking space for oneself away from somebody else causes anxiety for them. Like I thought that was also really interesting, that by them feeling that they were not heard, they had to find me in other ways. And it's really nothing. It's like, I want to come see the show. It's like, yeah, that will happen. Don't worry. It's interesting, I think, because people are so used to an email coming within 2 minutes. Also, like on Facebook, it will say like Shimmer answers
right?
Yeah, like 100% or 95, and 95 is not good. That's like answers in a couple of hours, which is considered bad. I think that anyway, now I'm just going on a different.
Well, this reminds me of one thing. I was recently, since the pandemic, working with an institution, a piece of writing, and I would quite appreciate this automated email, which was and I'm not sure, I don't know if you've encountered that. It says due to funding cuts, I am only working Monday to Thursday or something like that, or Tuesday to Friday, meaning I think that's all it says. So the meaning that the person won't be answering as frequently, and the workload will have to be distributed. I appreciate it, because as we hear so much about funding cuts and workers being asked to do more work at home, the studies is that they actually put in more hours now than when they were going to work. That kind of another kind of transparency that was really interesting to me to see. But I also wonder, like, have you ever put in? I really admire people. I know some people who do it when they say, when you email them, it would say, I'm not going to be answering email till 3 weeks from now. Like, they have a date where they know they will get back on email again. Have you ever done that? I've never done it. I just ignore it.
I do it for holidays.
For
holidays, but that's something I learnt from being in the Netherlands as well.
Yeah, when you're working. Yeah. But these are not people who work in institutions.
Yeah. But even now, like when I go on holiday, I'll say that I'm not available, and then I have to delete my email. Like
for your personal email or Shimmer?
Yeah, personal. Both.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then I have to delete it off my phone, because I'll just look at it and then I'll answer, and it undoes the whole point. But yeah, it takes discipline, I think, to be able to also get rid of that. I mean, I know that some people get very anxious about feeling like the person hasn't received an auto response, and so they feel like they have to physically, like, an auto response is not enough. It needs to be like, dear so and so, this is really me. It's like, that's not nobody needs to know that. But
or also to resist the urge that even if you're late with a response, or if you're oftentimes I feel like people have the need, I have the need to explain, like, I cannot work on this now because I'm ill, I'm taking care of someone, I have these and such problems, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't have to justify that,
totally.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know about my personal problems so that they can empathize and understand that I'm really overwhelmed.
Don't you feel like, though, and now I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I get a lot less anxiety if I don't give a reason. Because if I don't give a reason for why I can't do something, if I say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to attend, or unfortunately I'll have to postpone this, and then not say why, I feel a lot better than actually giving the real reason, which is usually very genuine, because it feels like I'm lying. Even though I'm not lying, but it doesn't feel like it's a good enough reason, even though it's a good reason. By just not saying anything, it means that nobody questions you. And if they do question you, then you have the reason. So I think, don't give a reason.
No.
Personally.
I hope this message finds you well.
Yeah, that question of like office life. I mean, I know for both of you, you're used to working freelance and kind of, going in and out of various institutional spaces, but in this more independent capacity. And yeah, so I guess and that style of work I'm more accustomed to as well. So just getting used to office life in the first place was a challenge, but I think now it'll just be like, oh right, I've gone back to freelance mode, and this will be very, very different.
Yeah. I can understand also, like, well, not so much in the office zone, but like people want to come see Shimmer now. Like, we're not really, you can't really come whenever you feel like it, but you can, within reason, you can come see Shimmer. I've noticed that I'm very resistant. I find I don't want people to look at me. I've noticed, and I do feel better if I'm wearing a mask, just psychologically. I don't feel like I'm worried about getting sick. I'm scared. I'm worried about being looked at. I'm not used to being looked at anymore. I mean, maybe from you, because I see you all the time, and being online is that, but the being looked at by a stranger in
full face.
Yeah, freaks me out.
Yeah.
Like, and so today, like, we have somebody coming at 4:30, but Jason's gonna host, because I'm like, I can't do it because we're here together, but I'm like, psychologically, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. It feels weird. It feels wrong. Jason's like, okay, like, yeah, it's funny.
Do you think, Eloise, that's also, because I had that thought as well about, because I'm so now I'm so used to seeing myself when other people see me, that I can regulate my facial expressions. I have a very different sense of control over myself in the world and how I represent myself. So I'm like, oh, right, what will happen when I can't see myself anymore? And I just have to be so vulnerable that other people are seeing me and I can't control that. Like, I wonder if that's also a layer of this kind of self-surveillance.
I definitely think that the vulnerability of it, and yeah, also the loss of control in some ways of my surroundings, like people that I don't know are coming in, and
and also the comfort of talking this way, you know? Like, I just realized, like, the other day I was asked to have a meeting in person, and until that moment, I thought that meeting would take place online, and it completely destabilized me. Not because of COVID, because I know this person is very careful. We would meet in, outside, but suddenly and it was kind of like, work-related thing. So I was still a bit nervous, and not having that comfort of having my little coffee, my cozy pants, and in my nicely, heated room. Suddenly I was really, really uncomfortable. And not even because of COVID, because I know it's going to be all right. Yeah. But still, it really freaked me out.
But do you think then this is also why we said that we didn't want to catch the train to interview Lara. Yeah. But I actually feel like it's because we had to go out into the world.
Yes.
Actually, so in the end, I called Lara on Google Hangout, and but I if I'm honest, it was because I was scared to be in the world.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting on a train right now, and I've just taken like a cross-Atlantic plane ride, but I'm still like, oh, train, that sounds terrifying.
We are both teaching in person from time to time, so I also need this kind of mental, psychological preparation getting on a train. And it's not easy.
My rule is that if I'm going to go on a train, I only do it once a week, and I'm not like I will not, like, I have been asked to go to Rietveld a couple of times, in a row, and I'm like, sorry, like, my quota is up. We will do it online.
Good.
Which everybody's very good about it. So
okay, that's good to hear. Yeah. And exactly, those kind of, that personal quota, a friend of my mum's calls it like personal protocols. And I think that was really a nice way to put it, because she felt then very free to say to others, like, I'm coming to see you for the first time in months. What are your personal protocols? These are mine. And that was just really nice. Like, we know we're not going to like go in for the hug, and we're just going to give ourselves some space when we first see each other. And I don't know, I just felt like that was a really nice way to frame it. And I actually hope that people continue to do that, like, quite far into the future, because this thing will have so many different timelines for all of us. And I think that hopefully will also teach us just something about like how each of us feels in the world, even without the pandemic, and our levels of comfort with other people.
I hope this message finds you well.
That's it for the season. For now, we're taking a break to record new episodes, and we'll be back soon with more conversations. But as usual, you can always email us at ihopethismessagefindsyouvell@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at ihopethismessage and find us on SoundCloud under the same handle. Our jingle was by the band Difficult and sound engineering was done by Nick Thomas.
Hope well finds message. You finds message. This message. I well you finds you. I hope. Well hope. Message this. I you this. Well finds you. Finds you hope. You this I. Well. Hope well finds message. You finds message. This message. I. Well you finds you. I hope. Well hope. Message this. I you this. This